Hi everyone, welcome back to this week Weekly Market Update. Let's have a quick look at what's happening on the market and then some things to update you guys as well in the market for the coming weeks. So as you can see that for last week, the index wise is not performing good especially for NASDAQ for 2 weeks straight for the first time in 2023. As we know that we are actually entering the August of 2023, we left 4 months to come into the end of 2023. Many things will be happening, especially people is predicting will there be all-time highs once again for the index itself. But so what causes the market to come down, especially on NASDAQ itself? A couple of things, as we know last week there's few economy data like CPI, like PMI, a couple of data actually announced. All right, all this data is just to show whether the interest rate or the inflation rate, how stickiness is it right now. So as you can see from the CPI reading, shows some sign of stickiness. So core CPI, which exclude volatile food and energy costs, rose 4.7% from the prior years. So this is actually telling us that the inflation rate was still at a high side because the CPI rose above, right? And that is why causing people speculating on the interest rate may continue to have some rate hike over there. All right, so not only on that, we can see some pull down by semiconductor, especially like AMD, Nvidia, but nevertheless, not to forget that these few shares has already got their good ride, all right, good bullish ride past few months or weeks when they're talking about the chat GPT, the AI things, especially for NVIDIA, right? So is it a bad sign or is a healthy correction pullback? This we have to review via the chart itself. All right, so however, out of the three indices, we can see that the strongest among the three based on the chart is actually Dow Jones. As for S&P 500 and NASDAQ, we can see that it actually breaking the low. It may go lower. So we'll look at the chart later after this news update itself. All right. So not only on that, a few things. Uh, Next is actually on this China band. So we can see that Hang Seng and China A50 is not performing well. US, China, the China ADR shares, that means those Chinese company listed in US, those ADR shares is not performing well, especially a couple of things which I mentioned like Alibaba, like JD's. It's not performing well. They came down last week, mainly of two things. One is actually a new ban from US itself. They are actually banning on some industry. As you can see, US moved to ban certain investment in China due to security reason. It's always security reason, right? So I think Biden has do some announcing on Wednesday itself. This cause, after if let's say US make this first step, definitely China will reiterate on what they're talking about, right? So right now we are waiting for what is a comeback from China itself. It's always these two brothers is trying to fight each another. Alright, that's why they say Beijing would retaliate against such measure. Alright. So not only on that, we can see that another big news from the China side is actually the country Garden Financials. This is actually a real estate company. I think they are facing some downturns and they are facing some debt issue, not able to pay back their bonds. So this actually hurt the sentiments from the China itself. So we can see that it's a US listed share China's based company suffered a broad beating Friday as property developer have trouble call a ball on the group. Alright, basically they can't pay their debts in short terms to say. So the following out data of China warning of economic downturn included the first drop in the consumer price in the first 2 years, a larger than expected drop in both export and import. So this give this sour the whole Hong Kong and also the China listed shares, right? And that is why with property, this kind of property shares plunged like 14.8%, not able to pay their debt. Everyone were worried on those other related company as well. All right, so many shares has been it's not on mercy basically to say they have dropped quite badly. I think around 4 to 5% on last Friday itself. All right, so let's take a look. This is also what is shared. Country Garden shares hit record low after profit warning as debt fear the loom, right? So So sometimes we will just look at the big brother itself, how does this perform to catch the sentiments. Even though I mentioned last 2 weeks ago, China is trying to step in to improve the economy. Perhaps they know with all the economy sign datas, with this kind of not able to pay their debts, they know how badly the country is, and that's why they come in to save it. But right now, in order to save it, however, also to fight against with Biden's, I'm not sure what kind of new regulation will they step in to play back on the US side. So be cautious of the shares that you're holding, especially Chinese US ADR shares. All right, those Chinese companies listed in US, just be cautious of that. However, good company by this timing, fear is actually the one that pull out the price for you to catch when it's low. All right, so but you gotta catch good company, good cash flow, this kind of company that can last throughout. All right, don't go and pick those small company or not even earnings, their revenues company. Uh, then you gotta be more cautious if you pick up those counter itself. All right, so without further ado, let's go into the chart directly. So last week, I didn't make the video last week because I don't see any update, especially that the market is kind of like stagnant, which what I mean by sideways floating. But I did do a write up in my Telegram group, and also I post it in my Facebook as well. So right now we can see that the first resistance for Dow Jones is actually 35,500. This is the day chart. We can see that the day chart on last Friday itself, Dow Jones actually pulled higher instead. So for both S&P and NASDAQ, they closed lower, but Dow Jones closed higher. All right, why? Because Dow Jones might be a so-called a safe haven with some of the company listed constitutes under Dow Jones, such as like McDonald's, Walmart, this kind of safe, counter. So that's why Dow went higher instead. But nevertheless, actually, if you look at the bigger picture, right, it's actually moving sideways. So it's just bouncing between 35,000 to 35,500, this 500 point. So if let's say you are intraday traders, you have been doing the swing trade, sell high, buy low, and then you have been doing a couple of few swings, you should make some couple of bucks from here. All right, nevertheless, market is stagnant for the last 3 weeks. We don't see any huge movement itself. But do bear in mind, if you think the market is not going to do well, due to NASDAQ or S&P, if you want to short the weaker index, all right, short the weaker index. I understand that usually weaker index meaning to say they have made their first move, your profit might not be much. If you want to short down, can, but do be more decisive on your stop loss itself. All right, 35,500 is a minor resistance which has been resisted a couple of times. All right, so try to penetrate on Thursday itself, but it closed lower. All right, so people who were smart know 33,500 is actually the key level. You should play some shorting positions and then 100 or 200 pips on the stop loss itself, and then you're riding on it. So it depends what kind of trading strategy you are onboarding, and then you should play around with it. But for people who are slightly longer term pictures, you may want to stay away because there is no way Dow Jones is moving. Unlike for NASDAQ, let's take a look on NASDAQ itself. For NASDAQ wise, we can see that yes, so it closed lower. Can you see on Friday it closed lower? On the close lower compared to the previously Thursday. Okay, so this is what I mean. Watch out if the price break 15,000. See more downside. So right now the last closing is actually at 15,028 points. So it's very near to the support area. So breaking 15,000, will it be possible? To me, I think it's a yes to go. All right, it's a yes to go. It may break 15,000 by next week, and then we shall see it going to heading to 14,400. All right, so simply just a update here. I will write today is 13 August. Break 15k, shall see 14,400. All right, so this is just a rough update for me as well. Okay, so all right, so this is the latest update. Then we will know what we are looking at. So no change. I'm still buying on the downside for NASDAQ as well. So S&P also doing the same thing, which I said these two is the weakest. So looking at the day chart itself, you can see, all right, so the Friday it closed lower compared to the yesterday, but however for Dow Jones it didn't happen this, right? So that's why I said if you want to short, you short the weakest. All right, either NASDAQ or you can short either S&P, but not on the Dow at the moment. Doesn't mean we don't short, but not to short at the moment. All right, unless it show a lower close, I mean a close before the previous week. So this is what my take for the index itself. Okay, so as for Hang Seng, let's take a look. Actually, I'm quite positive for Hang Seng until things happen. We can't foresee the future. So if let's say things continue to turn sour, what will I do? I will just cut. All right, it's common to cut your position. It's common along the way because we don't have the crystal ball, right? But definitely right now it actually closed above 50% Fibonacci. It's a good sign, but I don't think it will last that much, especially if let's say Biden said those things over the week, over last week. So right now it's only for China to fight back. So if that's the case, after breaking 50%, we are still back to the 38.2%, which is around the 18,000 as the next support area. All right, so as the next support area. So this buyer's upside is not valid at the moment, so I'll just change to 13 August 2023. Break 50% Fibo. We shall see next support around 18k. Alright, this might be high possible. Alright, so just be cautious if you're holding any Hang Seng position right now. Of course, if it didn't break the 50%, then nothing to say, right? Then we will continue to see the upside because 50% has been well supported for a couple of times as well. Okay, so next, let's go into a few counter for today. But before that, I would like to talk about gold. Futures gold. I just scanned through. I think it's formed like kind of prominence. Okay, so what I mean is like we're actually at the high side, forming almost. If you break below the 19,000, that will be like a double top, and then we just see much lower for gold itself. All right, so since 2nd April, I say gold support is 1970, break below 1970. It's around here that we may see 1920. All right, immediate resistance is at 2025, which break above, come down. All right, so I didn't it hit my stop loss. If you look at this closely, the following week it break higher, all right, but it didn't close above it. So it closed at 2025, which I write immediate resistance, right? 2025, and then since after that, it has been trading below 2025. All right, so this is a field trade, but if you take as my immediate resistance, you should be profit till now. So right now, for current on gold view, I'm looking at buyers on the downside again. So this is what I'm looking next. Of course, the movement is a bit. All right, but we need to see it break before we know it break. All right, we don't anticipate it break. So 13 August 2023, support at, sorry, immediate support at 1920/19,000. All right, so this is what we will be looking at. Okay, so that's my view for gold. And then let's take a look. Meta, a good stock, but NASDAQ is coming down, and I think I said I did some comment on Meta previously. All right, so on 22nd July, I say that the price covered the gap. As you can see from the day chart itself, there's a gap over here. Can we see that? I said the price covered, and then it revisit the 78% FIBO as a resistance. So it's around 320. So let's zoom in on 320. We have a couple of days hovering there, break above, come down, break above, come down, and then after that it failed to break above, so it came down. I mean, it drifted down. All right, right now it covered the gap, but based on current situation, I will still believe Meta has more downside to say. So I will just continue to drift, continue my view will do. All right, so 13 August, buyers downside with same TP stated on 22nd July 2023. All right, so this is what I mean. Okay, so I'm not going to delay it. I'll just update here. Alright, so that is for Meta, and then next counter we will be looking is TSM. As we know, Nvidia dropped, AMD also dropped. It's a semiconductor, so TSM is also semiconductor, but it's more sensitive because of Chinese related, right? Firstly, I just want to show you guys this is like a double top. Alright, so support the resistance firstly, and then it come down. Right now, it hit the resistance once again. Okay, used to be a good support, hit the resistance once again, and it come down. So I am more downside if let's say Nvidia profit taking or whatever they're coming down. This industry is coming down. TSM may not be spared as well. All right, so after breaking 38.2%, we will then look at the 23.6%. Of course, it may have some pullback over the week, over next week, because it's dropped for the past 2 to 3 weeks itself. All right, so 13 August, as you can see, right, last week, following week, previous week, 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago. All right, so below 38%, FIBO 91.3 may see next support around 79.50 cents. Right, so this is what we will be looking at for TSM semiconductor. Okay, so lastly, just a quick update. As we know that Tesla is dropping as well. Okay, we know that Tesla is dropping as well. We know that what happened to Neo hitting a good resistance, which I charted previously. You can see just this line. I don't know where I find the line, but this is chart previously. So once you chart, if you go above $50, you need to take the profit. We might still have to wait for some times. Alright, so Tesla is dropping, Neo is dropping. So one company EV is not dropping, it's called Li Auto. Alright, is at the high side. We can see that it grew way higher. So on last week, last 5 candle, it formed a very so-called a very bearish engulfing, as you can see. Alright, and firstly, we are actually at the top side over bought situations. We have the engulfing. Alright, and this used to be a resistance level. Alright, this used to be a resistance level around 40 plus, and it touches it. So if you're able to penetrate, we may see more downside for Li Auto as well. Alright, so break below, then we may see more downside. Of course, I need to write the date. Alright, so that's it for this week weekly market update. I don't want to go too long. Market sentiment is not very fantastic at the moment, so just be cautious of your counter itself. Short the weakest, long the strong. Alright, so pick the correct one, or otherwise you want to stay aside. You will be staying aside throughout, no matter what, if you never dare to approach the market. Alright, always start from the paper trading, start from a small capital, get the right of it, get a hang of it, and then your confidence will slowly boost up. Okay, so that's all for this week mini market update. Hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to follow me and share my Telegram and YouTube channel and Facebook page as well. Goodbye, everyone.